That lag's going to just, I don't know. Welcome to How to Drink Bourbon, Tequila, and Other Spirits. We are the Drink Neat guys, and it is late April. And what is Saturday? Guys, anybody?
The non-Kentucky Derby.
It's the first Saturday in May, and there's nothing happening. However, the state of Kentucky may allow the ponies to run here in a couple of weeks, assuming that they can put masks on all the horses and protect them from the COVID-19 virus. But the governor announced today that they were in plans to look at reopening horse racing before the end of the month. We'll see how that plays. Not the end of this month, the end of May. So there will definitely not be a Kentucky Derby this year, which means the Preakness would have been 2 weeks ago on Saturday. So that didn't happen. So no Triple Crown winner this year, guys. Sorry about your luck. Anyway.
They're going to try to run it in September. I don't know if they'll even be able to get it off then, but, who knows?
Well, that will definitely be different, and have at it. I mean, I like watching the ponies run. So, all right. So because it is Derby time, we decided that we were going to do an episode on the official drink of the Kentucky Derby, and that is the Mint Julep. Now, I'm a little bit behind. The guys have already went ahead and mixed some juleps, so I'm going to get things together and start building mine, and I will be talking my way through it, and guys, you just sort of interject and as we go along. First thing you're going to need is a metal cup. Now, they make some nice julep cups that are usually they're silver, they're nice, but the metal's important. It's almost like a Moscow Mule. You've got to have something metal. This is the closest thing I've got to a julep cup, and Amazon would not get them here before like June 9th. So I'm going to start with this copper cup that we got from Woodford Reserve. Very nice tour there. Very nice bourbon. Anybody want to interject on that?
Looks like a julep cup from here.
And somebody just rang my doorbell, and I guarantee it's Dennis the Menace across the street. I'll tell you what. Anyway, before we get, I've got some fresh mint, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull off, 8 or 10 mint leaves. And this one was a little wilty, but I've got plenty. My wife actually had this growing in the yard, but it's free from chemicals because if you've ever seen my yard, it's obviously I don't do anything to it. So
it's organic. This is organic.
It's organic, yes. Anyway, that one didn't want to go in there. Oh, that's a big one too. That's what she said. Anyway, let me grab my muddler here. That's the one thing I don't have handy.
How many mint leaves did you put in it?
I put about 8 to 10, maybe 12. I wasn't keeping count. But anyway, I'm going to take those mint leaves and add 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. Some people use super fine sugar and water, but 1/2 ounce. And mint juleps, this is one of those things. I've had good ones, I've had bad ones, and it's really depends on who makes it and how strong they make it. But the typical, everyone will tell you a 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. And basically, you want to, you don't really want to damage the leaves. You just want to bruise them a little bit, make them know that they've seen some stuff.
There's a big difference between bruising and muddling or macerating to death,
Oh, exactly.
if you bust it up into little small pieces, you wind up eating it basically.
Well, and I've had some mojitos that are that way. I couldn't drink them because you got all them little pieces. I'm like, man, if this is the way they are supposed to be made, I don't want to drink it.
Well,
I didn't like it.
the mojito and the mint julep, they are essentially the same drink, and I say that, I probably pissed some people off and caused or committed a cardinal sin there. But essentially, they are, one's made with rum, one's made with whiskey, and only in Kentucky, it's made with bourbon because that's the way it's supposed to be made.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'm using Four Roses. I figure it's you want a good quality bourbon, and recipes will call for anywhere from 2 ounces to 2.5. I'm going to go on the fun side, and I'm going to go ahead and put 2.5 in there. All right, and this is where the fun part comes. Fresh crushed ice, which I crushed this. Got my little wooden mallet out, and my what do they call them? Fisher bags? Are they Fisher bags? No, they're Lewis bags. That's it. And I should remember that because
Lewis bag.
Lewis bag. We've got some friends whose last name is Lewis, and Leah's actually a bartender, so I should remember that. Anyway, we're going to start mixing that minty goodness on the bottom and that simple syrup. My Four Roses, and I don't know if you can tell it, we're starting to get some frost on the edge of the glass, and that's the great thing about mint julep. There's a lot of ice, and it's almost like a grown-up snow cone. I'm getting ice everywhere too. But,
well, this is the drink at Churchill Downs, and so out there racing horses in the heat all day long, you need something with a lot of ice, just one to cool you down, two to stay hydrated. So it comes packed with ice.
Well, what I like about it is the ice, depending on which bourbon you use. I know I made some the other night that was with the Evan Williams Bottled and Bond. My wife thought they were a little hot, and they were for her taste. She would probably enjoy one made with Basil Hayden, because that is her favorite bourbon.
Or one of these Sierra Nortes.
Sierra Norte would have been an interesting choice. All right. Anyway, got that ice. You're going to find one real pretty sprig of mint. I like to give it a little slap there to show it who's boss. And there you go. That is the Drink Neat Guys Mint Julep. Like I said, I'm behind, and these guys have been they beat me to the punch. They're probably 2 or 3 in at this point.
No.
But anyway, guys, it's been a few days. How y'all been?
Well, I'm back to work, so.
Well,
I worked a little while today.
Yeah, you did good too.
Checks in the bank.
That's a good
What
thing.
I like to hear. What I like to hear. Oh man, I don't know how your all's went. Mine's pretty good. This Four Roses went well. What'd you all use?
I got that Knob Creek single barrel. It's got a picture of right there.
Mm-hmm.
But my recipe's a little different from yours. It's it just may be just a recipe that we use, but 6 ounces of bourbon. And,
It's the same as your old fashioned.
it's 6 ounces of bourbon. Then I put an ounce of simple syrup, and I don't know. I had 6 or 8 mint leaves in there, just like you did. I also noticed today that I did some research on today, and you can make mint simple syrup. Now
Really?
that would have been an ideal way to do these. If you're trying to mass produce them at a cookout or something, go ahead and make your simple syrup up: cup sugar, cup of water, 6 or 8 mint leaves per cup of each. and let that steep overnight. And then, that would be a whole, and filter that out, coffee filter, cheesecloth. Then that would be a whole lot easier tomorrow when you go to make these, or Saturday at the Derby, at your Derby party. You could drop your simple syrup, put the bourbon in, have your glasses chilled up, fill them with ice, smack that sprig and throw it on top, and you'd be ready to rock. It would save a couple steps.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, it is. I like
Really
that.
is.
In the future, I'll probably go that route.
I'm going to pull up a stool here, guys. So give me a second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Oh,
today too, where each year almost 127,000 mint juleps are made at over the Kentucky Oaks. That runs on Friday, and then Derby Saturday. That's 11,000 bottles of bourbon, 2,200 pounds of mint, 2,200 pounds of mint, and 60,000 pounds of ice. And they like that good ice, that shaved up, crushed up, tiny ice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, man, that's a lot of bourbon if you stop and think, man.
I should have busted my ice up a little better, but
I just pushed the button on my ice maker, so
Hey, well, there you go.
Chewed it up right for me. So I use 1783 Evan Williams in mine. So
I started to use Evan Williams, 1783, but this Four Roses, and Bruin was at the Derby last year with him and some of his friends, and they had some juleps, and he said they were awful good. And he said it was either Makers or Four Roses, and that he's pretty sure it was Four Roses. So
they're the official mint julep for the past 18 years has been something from Brown Foreman. It was early times for a long time, and now the official drink is the Old Forester mint julep.
Oh, wow!
You can always call what you want to go into them.
Yeah.
So which do they use, the 86 or the? Because I know the
regular shelf Old Forester. It's probably 86 proof.
It probably is.
86 or it's 84.
86, isn't it?
Is it? I'm not real sure.
It's got some citrus notes to it. Well, that sounded presumptuous, didn't it? It goes really well. I like the 100 proof. It goes really, really well in an old fashioned, and that's probably my favorite use for it, other than just sipping on it.
The other thing with the mint julep too is after you make a couple, you make one mint heavy, make one sweet heavy. You can start dialing it in. It's just like any other mixed drink. It's like an old fashioned. I've learned that an old fashioned takes 6 ounces of bourbon. You start dialing this in, you might want to use a little less simple syrup or maybe a little less mint, but you can make a good drink with it.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I'm really happy with the way this one, as far as the mint goes, and you said 6 ounces to 1 ounce, which is actually 3 to 1/2. So we weren't too far off with this 2.5, but
right.
A quarter of an ounce of anything can throw a drink one way or the other. And
you got to be able to, and I was talking about this today. You got to be able to repeat it.
Right.
Once you get a good recipe, you think you've got a good recipe. You run that recipe a couple times. Make sure that you can get the same result as what you got last time.
Yeah.
And you've got a good recipe. Right now, we've made a good mint julep. To have a good recipe, it's got to be repeatable.
Oh, absolutely.
And I can always remember the 6-1 ratio. Easy to figure out.
Well, it's like with anything else in the restaurants and everything. If you can't make a consistent drink, and it's even with their food, if their food is not consistent every time you go there, it's not good. And it's not memorable. It's not something you want to go back to, because the next time you go in, your mint julep may be like crap, because they're not taking their time and really making a quality drink. They're just trying to throw stuff out there. And I've been to bars that way, and then it's unfortunate. But most of your bartenders behind a lot of these bars are in your small towns. They've never been trained.
No, they're pouring beers. They know how to run a draft.
That's right.
Unless you go to the bar that we go to and they don't know how to draft up a Guinness. That really chaps me.
Yeah.
Well,
I have no problem going behind the bar and training the whole entire staff on how to draft a Guinness. I mean, it's not that hard. once you learn it. It just takes a minute.
Well, that comes back to the bar having a set recipe that all the bartenders use, the exact
Yes.
ratio, and measure it. And some pour spouts you can count, but it's one of those things that you really just need to I guess measure until you're confident with counting. But if you're going to get consistency, you need to measure.
Right.
And I used a jigger here because I know what 2.5 ounces looks like, and I've got pour spouts that I have counted to see what an ounce looks like, and so I could have got close, but for that consistency, measuring is always the way to go.
We've got a local restaurant, with everything being the way it is now, they can, everything is curbside, and they can do drinks now curbside. So they're doing drinks in mason jars, but they don't have a menu of drinks. You can't go online and look at a list of drinks and, oh man, that looks good. I think I'll take that. They just, when I ask them about it, they're like, well, we can make whatever you want. Now, number one, that scares me.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who's going to be making it, and you don't know who's going to be making it next time. And you don't know how close they're going to be. So I didn't even mess with it. But that place really, really needs a drink menu. It needs stuff laid out. And it needs to show it in the menu. This is what goes in our old fashioned. This is what we're doing.
Yeah, I agree, because I go to one here in town the same way. They don't have a drink menu. And they're mainly pouring beers is mainly what they're doing.
They're not concerned with that. But if they would just rub and polish that market just a little bit, it would explode for them. I mean,
Lord,
you're
yeah.
in Kentucky. We're smack in the middle of the Bourbon Trail. Why do they not have craft drinks on the menu?
Yeah. And you got to have something that appeals to everybody as well.
Right.
It can't be just beer. It can't be just bourbon. You've got to be able to make those sweet drinks for the ladies that want a sweet drink. A little something for everybody, even gin for Ben,
Yeah, that's absolutely.
You got to have something for everybody. But I don't know. And when I see that kind of stuff in these restaurants, it makes me want to open a bar.
Yeah, that's
I've seen
too,
I've seen so many of the mistakes they're making, and I'm thinking, if I'm doing it right, I'm going to draw in more people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to draw in that crowd.
I can correct that. If I correct this one mistake, how much money is that per month? If I correct this other mistake, how much can I add on to what I'm already making?
Yeah.
And they don't care. All they want to do is draft up a beer and throw you some frozen chicken wings out there and rock on.
Yeah.
So it's bad when everybody in town's got the same stick.
I agree wholeheartedly with that.
Yeah. But these are good looking drinks. These are old drinks. They go back in recorded times, back to mid 1700s probably. And like a lot of other drinks, they were it was made as a cure for a sickness or something. And this was sickness of the stomach.
Help spine.
Prescribed. That's what mint does. Mint, it'll help settle your stomach. But as it evolved, and I'm sure it's like all the other drinks, if you want to put mint in bars, you got to have something for them to look at. So you make fruity drinks to draw the women into bars. So you start making things sweet. So I'd say in Prohibition, these really took off. They become the drink of Churchill Downs in 1937, 38, depending on which historian you look at. But I'd say they were drinking that long before, because there's an article in 1875 that talked about them sowing mint leaves out front just so they would have a good steady supply of them. So
yeah.
So it's been around for a minute. An iconic drink. I mean, there's nothing else that looks like a mint julep if it's made right and put in the right glass. Nobody else drinks old fashions out of julep cups,
Right.
But
I'm taking care of some business here, so y'all keep talking.
No. Well, no, I mean, I wish they would have kept better records back then, but who knew,
All
who
right.
knew? And, the number of people back then, it anywhere close to what it is now. And they just wasn't thinking that far ahead. That's not how they operated, but I would have loved to have, seen it back in those days, to experience it.
Here's a recipe that was in the 1908 Chicago Tribune from a Lexington man named Samuel Judson. And he talked, when they talk about silver cups and julep cups back in the day, when people when they traveled west from Virginia into Kentucky, they brought two things with them for sure. That was horses, moonshine stills. So what are you eventually going to do? You're going to start racing your horse, and then you're going to start comparing your moonshine to everybody else's moonshine. So it's something that goes drinking bourbon, drinking whiskey, and racing horses goes hand in hand. So, and one of the things that they give away was julep cups. If you won the race, you got the cup. That's still the way it is today. But here's what Samuel said in 1908. He says, "Take a silver cup, always a silver cup. Fill it with ice pulverized to the finest of snow. Bruise one tender little leaf of mint and stick it in the ice. Then dissolve a spoonful of sugar but listen to this measure. Dissolve a spoonful of sugar in about 3/4 of a Kentucky drink of good whiskey." I like that. Then let the fluid filter through the ice at the bottom of the cup. Take the cup up till a white frost forms on the outside, and I think we've all had our frosty cups today.
Oh, yeah.
Trim it with mint and hand it to the appreciative gentleman. So I definitely have more than 3/4 of a Kentucky good whiskey. But I like that measurement. That's a hell of a measurement right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I made sure I poured a good healthy, Kentucky gentleman's drink, and I even let Justin try it.
Yeah. And there's something else too, but this goes with every, and I've always said this goes with every mixed drink. You want something that got enough flavor and it's got enough proof that it's going to stand up to what you're making. You don't want to drown out a really good bird. You can make this with 46. Maker's 46 would be awesome. But you don't want to drown out that Maker's with everything else you're throwing into the cup on top of it.
Right.
So, but you need something with a little proof that's going to taste right. Like if you pour an 80 proof whiskey over ice, after about 5 minutes, you've got something, down around 30, 40 proof.
Mm-hmm.
It loses all resemblance to anything having a good flavor.
Oh, yeah.
But, you use something like a 120 proof Knob Creek single barrel, and you dilute it down, it's going to dilute down to about 80, 90 proof. And that's where you want it. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Which, dilution is very important in the mint julep, because every sip it's a different drink, because your ice is melting, and we all know that small pieces of ice melt faster than big pieces of ice. So from the first sip to the last, the drink is changing, and that, I don't know, I like it. It's because you start out and it's a little strong, but by the time you get to the end of it, it's very smooth, very mellow, very sweet.
Sweet. Yep.
Right.
It's a good way to end a good drink.
All right. I went and paid for the upgrade, but it's still going to make us kick out here. So, tell you what, let's, I hope I hit record. Gosh, that would suck.
It's showing recording in the upper left-hand corner.
All right. That's good deal. I wish it wasn't going to kick us out, though, because I was hoping to continue this conversation. I read somewhere that I don't think it was Henry Clay. It might have been tied to Henry Clay, but I don't think it was. But there was a senator from Kentucky that this actually originated in a bar in, you may have already mentioned this, in Washington. And
that'd be the Round Robin Bar at the Willard Hotel.
Yeah, that's it.
It'd be Henry Clay.
Oh, well, so you say, there you go. His his house is up there on Richmond Road, so it's that's pretty cool. But anyway, all right, guys. Why is it gonna make us kick out? That just upsets me to no end. Because here I was scrambling to get us a pro plan, and it's still gonna kick us out. And guys, we are back. We've been sitting here shooting the breeze for about 30 minutes while all the wonderful Zoom magic happened. Bless you.
Thank you.
And so here we are. We're I've had time to make another mint julep, and I used Tim's formula of 6 ounces with an ounce of simple syrup, and that only leaves room for a little bit of mint, a little bit of ice. But but I have to say that it is it's very balanced. I mean, it's amazing. It's probably more balanced where mine was 2.5 to a half, which is actually, I guess, 1 1/4 to 1. So no, it'd be, how would that work? 4.5 to 1. And yeah, that's the way math works. Actually, I guess the ratio is 5 to 1.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, 5 to 1. Mine was 5 to 1. His is 6 to 1. And 6 to 1, I have to say, is better than 5 to 1 as far as
I
it
like
goes.
it a little. It gives it. Well, I like more of a bourbon taste. Even look at my old fashions. You know.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But you're talking about a drink that is straight up 85, close to 90% bourbon. So
Yeah, I know.
I don't see anything wrong with that myself.
And there's not. I mean, the whole appeal to the cocktail is that it is super frosty cold. It's a little minty and it's sweet.
And you can really, you can really tailor it down to what your tastes are. If you want it sweeter, you make it sweeter. If you want more bourbon, you put more bourbon. You put more bitters in it if that's what you're doing, or maybe more amaretto or more absinthe. There's a lot you can do with it.
I never thought about putting bitters, but I saw some videos this week doing research on, how to make the drink. And like I said, if you look at a recipe, I've got a cocktail book that I forget, some website put it out. It's very nice. It's got thousands of recipes in it for cocktails, and it's 2 ounce, half ounce, and ice and mint. Basically what we did. Watched a video on YouTube, and the guy was well, let me back up. I think the cocktail book mentioned adding bitters to the top of the ice, which there again, as you get to the bottom of the drink, as the ice melts, the drink changes. I watched another guy that 2 ounces, half ounce, pretty straight the way we did it, 2.5 ounce. And then I had another guy that he was doing simple syrup. I don't think he was using bitters, but he was using something else that is, like I said, probably a cardinal sin in the realm of the mint julep lexicon that we live in. But as long as it tastes good, it's sweet, and it's in Tim's case, 99% bourbon. That's what you want. But like I said, because there are so many differences in the way people make mint juleps. We went to, let me back up to, gosh, I was working in Williamsburg at the time. So this has been 15 years ago. Every Wednesday before the Derby, we got hosted by Snyder Square D, which I don't know if either one of those companies is still in business. They've probably been bought out by somebody else by now. But anyway, it was a electrical equipment manufacturing, if you're not familiar with that. But anyway, they would host a hospitality tent. The sales guys out of Louisville would host a hospitality tent the Wednesday before the Derby. So I think Thursday's the Oaks, and then Friday's something else, and then Saturday's the Derby. So we'd go up every Wednesday and, spend the whole day, watch the horses run, betting kiosk in the hospitality tent. So you didn't,
Nice.
you sat there, you ate, it was an open bar, you drank, you placed your bets, you walked out to the rail, literally against the rail, because there's 300 people in the whole of Churchill Downs. You watch the horses run, get a little dirt in your mouth, you walk back, you tear up your tickets because you lost. You get another drink to get the taste of the dirt out of your mouth. You have some more cheese and crackers. and then you repeat that for 13, 14 races during the day. It was a fun time. And it was all complimentary. So, it's just like take the wives.
Really fun time.
You make the day out of it. But we had a mint julep in the hospitality tent, and it was a long, long time. A decade before I ever tried another mint julep. The first one I ever actually enjoyed came from, I guess it's Proof on Main, which is in downtown Louisville.
Yeah.
And it's the one with the it's got an art gallery attached. If anybody's in Louisville, they really need to go check that out.
It is really cool.
Excellent bar. I don't know about their food. Their appetizers are good. They've got this really progressive art gallery, if that's your thing. But their restroom is great because you're sitting there in front of the urinals, which is basically a giant trough with a waterfall and a two-way mirror. So you can see the people in the hallway, and they can vaguely make out, what you're doing.
Outlines.
Yeah, it's sort of cool because there's lights in the restroom, and so you're a little bit backlit, but it's a really different experience when you sit there and there's 20 people standing outside watching you urinate into a waterfall. So that's just my take
I
on
don't
it.
know that they actually see that.
Well, they
kind of
can't
see a shadow
no.
of your shoulders.
They can, because from the waist down it's solid mirror, but it's the perception that I'm sitting here, with my John Thomas out,
They have to really be looking to see you too.
Damn, I hate you. Golly, I don't even know why I'm friends with you, man.
Well, just tell it like it is. You don't want to have people not go there because they'll be like, well, I don't want to go in there and stand and pee and somebody watching me.
Well, anyway, they've got this really cool window, though. They've got these little smoke pots that blow perfect smoke rings up. That's worth seeing by itself. So
it is cool. Yeah, I have to say it is really, really neat. The art gallery, all that stuff. It's really cool to see.
But anyway, it's a good bar and a good restaurant too.
It really is. The bar is excellent.
A little bit PG-13, but if your kids can't handle boobs, you shouldn't take them there.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, I like boobs myself, but that's just me.
Yeah, man, these were good mint juleps.
That's what she said.
Very good mint juleps.
Yeah. And it's something that you can really tailor to your own liking.
All right.
It's a fun drink to play around with and twist up the ratios some till you get what you like.
Okay. This is a public service announcement at this point. Gentlemen and ladies, do not plant mint in your landscaping. If you do, it will take over. Plant it in a pot and use it to make mint juleps. But other than that, do not, I repeat, do not put it in your landscaping. Now, it smells really good when you weed eat, but other than that, do not put it in your landscaping.
Do not seek the treasure. I need to come up here and get a couple hands full from you and stick in our little herb garden we've got going.
Hey, I've got plenty, and it grows like weeds. So I think the only way that you can get rid of it is to buy a goat. And Matt can't do that.
To your friends.
Well, that's true. Matt can't do that because ladies allergic to goats. So juicy juice.
She is. She loves goats.
She's allergic to pepperoni. I mean, that's a good.
And that ain't right.
That's the inside of a goat. I mean, I don't know why she would be all right with the outside of a goat.
I don't think she's allergic to pepperoni. It just tears her stomach up.
Oh, well,
and it's something I'm trying to get her to go to the doctor about.
Well,
because all she does is complain how bad her stomach's tore up. And I'm like, go to the doctor.
I thought she had, like anaphylactic shock, give me the EpiPen type of reaction to goat.
No.
You know that goat is the most eaten animal on the face of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of astounds me because I really like beef.
And outside the United States, goat's a staple.
Well,
I mean, it's everyday action. It's like us eating a hamburger. They eat pepperoni.
I tell you what, I like, and I'm not opposed to eating goats, but compared to beef, come on. Have you ever had brisket? I mean, and we won't even get started on pork because you got ham, you got bacon, you got sausage, you got pork rinds. What can you not make out of pork?
A cheeseburger.
Oh, it depends on how you grind it up.
Yeah,
man. I tell you what, this thing's kicking me out again. Dang it. What is the deal?
I don't know.
Oh, well, crap.
They didn't accept your, update or upgrade or whatever it is.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to have to line that out. And
that's a shame.
So anyway, it really is because it shows my account because I'm looking at it right now because when you click upgrade, when that stupid message pops up, you get their whole page, and my account shows that we are pro monthly members. Anyway, hey, and this is if somebody wants to sponsor us, which I know you don't, but if you do, if you have a liquor store or a bar and you would like the Drink Neat guys to come and hang out and exactly, I'm a draw everywhere I go. People just crowd around me.
Oh my God! I'm glad I got my feet up.
Hey, you saw me at Mardi Gras. How many people were around me? Millions. Come on.
That's because you had your shirt off.
Well,
not because they wanted to be.
Anyway, I'm just saying we will.
We're there to watch the parade, man.
We will. We will come and hang out at your establishment, for the $15 a month that Zoom Pro's costing us. Anyway. Oh gosh, we are.
Basically, for a price of a bottle of liquor, we'll come hang out at your store.
Well, we're like one of those bands that shows up at these little bitty bars, and it's like, yeah, we're going to give you $50 plus drinks, and they lose money on the night. That's us when we show up. You can't afford to feed us. Anyway,
Blues Brothers band boys.
Stand by your man. Give him 2 arms to cling to.
I'm sorry.
We're the Drink Neat guys, and tonight we've been drinking Mint Julep.
All right, guys. I am going to post this before Derby Day. So if you have a virtual Derby party where nobody's going to watch any horses run, and your closest kith and kin are with you, and then all your other friends are checking on you either with FaceTime or Zoom or Skype or whatever, have some mint juleps. Come on. Surely you got some mint growing in your yard. If you don't, just come to my yard, get all you want. Some of it may be grass, some of it may be weeds. A lot of it will be crabgrass and clover. But, after you've had 3 or 4 of these, you can't tell the difference. It's all good. Just bruise them. Don't muddle the crap out of them. All right.
Let me ask you something here before we cut loose. How many people can we actually fit in this meeting? Because I think it would be cool to kind of host something, drink a mint julep with the Drink Neat guys this Saturday, and have a whole bunch of people get in the room. We can show them how to make it, and we can all just sit and relax and talk and BS. And
just sort of.
I think we can have 100.
Is that the limit? Because I sat through
we just take as many as we can get first, whatever,
First 5 or 6, I think that would be plenty.
I sat through a webinar about 3 weeks ago that might have had, I guess there's about 100 in there, give or take. I sat through an EV group that's out of Louisville. They've got Louisville and Lexington. They had a meeting Sunday that was actually, I think 32 people showed up for it. Most of them were Tesla owners. But anyway, it's just cool to see what was going on. So, I know that we can have at least 32. So
yeah, you can have a lot, and I think there's one way to do it. You can have up to 1,000 participants. So I mean,
yeah, and there's a bunch of
hours. We could have a good time.
There's a bunch of add-ons that you can do, and this, that, and other, which we don't have to do. But that guy that was out of, I think he was probably out of Las Vegas, that was doing a webinar on the small business loan, whatever process, and they were willing to do your small business loan through the government for $500. So
well, that's awful nice of them.
It was, and they probably made 15 grand that day, if not more, to be honest with you. I had it done before he was done talking. Still haven't heard anything, so maybe I should have paid him the $500. I don't know. But anyway, the thing is, we could host a get-together, and, anybody shows up, it's great. It's awesome. If nobody shows up, we'll drink mint juleps. We'll meet. I'm going to save the rest of this bottle for Saturday. And if we want to start promoting a hangout sometime Saturday, just let me know. We'll set it up. And I'll get all this.
Why we don't.
I'll get all this.
So I'll have to get a new bottle.
Oh, gosh. You'll probably have to leave your house for that, won't you?
Oh, wait a minute. You're going to work, though, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're going to pass your local,
Twice a day.
Hey, I tell you what. I don't care. Guys, we can hang out for however long. We don't have to record it. We'll just hang out and bullshit. I mean, that's what that EV meeting was. So, yeah. So there you go, guys. I'm going to get this posted as quickly as possible, and check Facebook. Look up Matt and Tim on Facebook. I don't do Facebook. I do Instagram, and we will be on drinkneatguys.com. Drink Neat Guys is our Instagram thing. I tell you what, I will post all the details if we pull this together, and we will just we'll just hang out Saturday, and we'll make mint juleps if you want to make mint juleps. If not, we'll just shoot the breeze, and we'll just hang out, because daggone, I love my family, but they're the only people I've seen other than the people at freaking Lowe's, and there's a million people at Lowe's. Lowe's is doing record business right now.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Everybody's home improvement out the ass. I mean, spring is always big for them, but my gosh, they're doing Black Friday specials. Well, COVID-19.
Everybody needs to do something. They're if they don't do something, they'll end up killing somebody in their family. So you know what? Just stay busy.
Well, I tell you what, my daughter just started up there, and she's been there for about 2 weeks now. And I just wonder what she's being exposed to. And of course, you know, she's 19 and she's healthy and this, that, and the other, but what's she bringing home to us? Because I'm not 19 and I'm fairly healthy, maybe. I don't know, but still. But and then you get grandparents involved, and we visit grandparents, but we try to stay socially distant. But I mean, still. But anyway, we got to wrap it up because we're running out of time, even though I paid the money they asked for. Daggone Judas. Anyway, guys, just remember to taste what's in your glass before you put it in your drink. I'm going to post this as quickly as I can, and just watch social to see if we're going to hang out Saturday or not.
Be sure to take notes on your answers.
Absolutely. Peace out.
Or as Tim likes to say, take notes. So.